What's going on, everybody? My name is Aiden and welcome back to another video. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I do have a plan at some point to make a grading video for the Bulls season, and I just feel like I need a little bit more time to make that type of video. But with that being said, I do want to discuss at least one thing that a Bulls player on this team, or I'm going to go through the entire roster and list one thing that can be approved with each and every single player. Now, at the end of the day, this is the off season. Sure, the Bulls players now are probably resting in Cancun somewhere. I'm just joking, but they're probably resting, enjoying their off season. They worked hard, they fought well. They're obviously disappointed in the end, but there's improvements there that do need to be made. So I want to go through my opinion on what type of improvements can be made. Some of them will be very easy. Some of them not so. Some of them you might not even think of. But that's just the whole point of the video. So I'm going to go through the roster, go through the key guys, because I can't list the thing for everybody. For example, Emmanuel Miller. I'll be honest, I don't know much about Emmanuel Miller. And he's on the roster. So I can't sit here and tell you he needs to improve on something when I don't know much about him. But the key guys on this team, we're going to go through. I'll give you at least one thing for each. There might be more, who knows. Look, there's no script here, so we're going to be playing it as it goes. But before we get any further, if you like the video and you want to see more from me, drop a like, drop a follow, and or subscribe if you are new, and let me know in the comments below your thoughts about one thing that each Bulls player on this team can improve on. Or if you want to talk about a specific guy, if you disagree with my take on a guy, that's fine as well. Let's have that discussion. So let's start off with Patrick Williams. Look, a lot of people have lost faith in Patrick Williams, and you know what? At this point, I don't blame anyone if they've given up on Patrick Williams. I think everybody has given up on the idea of superstardom for Patrick Williams, but the least that we could do is make the best out of a bad situation and hope he could be a good role player for this team. Overpaid? Sure, but still, a good role player on this team. What I like to see as an improvement from Patrick Williams, the key one is obviously the aggressiveness of his game. Still very, very passive. But the thing I'm going to actually talk about is his lateral movement. His movement, in my opinion, has been a massive disappointment from his rookie season until now. He's taken a big regression in that regard. He's not as quick as he used to be. He's not good laterally as he used to be. And everybody's kind of seen that. And people have said he's been a worse defender this season than most. I don't know what the stats show in that regard. But yeah, I could definitely see situations now where his lateral movement and his movement in general has just been not up to par from what we expect. So I want Patrick Williams to kind of work on his mobility, work on his movement, and everything in between. It's small, but I think something like that for Patrick Williams can be the key to unlocking a lot more of his defensive capabilities and maybe some offensive capabilities as well. So that's the first thing I want to bring to the table. Let's see what you guys think about that. The next person I want to talk about is Tre Jones, who did get injured, and I don't think he came back. I'm not sure if he came back at the end of the season. I can't remember, to be honest. That whole time frame from Detroit, no, our last game was against Philly to Miami. I don't remember anything about that time frame. There was other things on my mind. So with Tre Jones, he does a little bit of everything for the Chicago Bulls, but this was definitely sort of a breakout year for him with the Bulls. Compared to obviously previous teams he's been on. The Bulls clearly like him. I would be more than happy to see him kind of stick around, even though we do have a lot of guards. What I would say with him is the improvement I need to see is more of the consistency of his game. There are certain elements that are beautiful, and we all love Tre Jones because of that, but he doesn't do it on a consistent basis. And I think if we're going to be bringing him around, he did some excellent things, and those things I want to see stay. He was a very great shooter for the Bulls when he was here. He was really good defensively, good in transition. When Josh Giddey was out, he was a phenomenal playmaker as well. He did a lot of things, and he stepped up in a lot of ways that we probably didn't expect when we traded for him. So I want to see that stay. Whether that's off the bench role, maybe starting from time to time, maybe it's replacing Ayo and his minutes. I don't know what it's going to be, but if we're going to see him stick around, I want to see more of that consistency in his game for an entire season. And we'll see if that is something that can be done. I honestly do not know. Let's move on. Dalen Terry. Well, there's a lot to say about Dalen Terry and the improvements I'd like to see him make, but I think the very key one is the one I probably mentioned last year. It's his three-point shooting. Dalen Terry does do a lot of energy things and dirty work type of stuff for the Bulls. He is someone that is going to bring a lot of energy. He's going to run for you. He's going to hustle for you. He's going to trash talk for you. He's going to do all those things you expect from a guy in his position. But his three-point shooting is taken some steps, but it's not perfect. And it needs to be better. And I still think at this point in his career, he has time to improve that. Now, I don't know if he's going to be a Bulls player long-term or not, but that's the one improvement I'd like to see from Dalen Terry. If he can knock down that shot, I'll give you an example. Julian Phillips has been a phenomenal three-point shooter in that corner. And that's kind of what we need Dalen Terry to do as well in small ways. To be a catch-and-shoot guy, to knock down the three at an effective level. If he can continue to make strides in that area, he will be a very valuable asset to the Bulls off the bench. So that's what I would want to see from him. Talen Horton-Tucker. Oh man, I don't have too much to say for him, to be honest. I was impressed with some of the games that he had. He's obviously a terrific scorer. I guess what I'd like to see from him, because he's listed as a point guard, I don't see him as an amazing facilitator, but mainly I don't see him as a great defender. And I'd like to see improvements in that for him, because let's be honest, Talen Horton-Tucker is in an interesting situation where he will get roles in the NBA, but whether or not he gets back to a consistent bench player, it's probably up to him at this point. It reminds me a little bit of Chris Dunn. Chris Dunn was not a great offensive player, but what brought him back to the league is his defense. He's playing for the Clippers now because of his defense, not because he can make a shot. It's because he plays elite defense. And I think Talen Horton-Tucker is a great offensive guy, but if he can't put stops together on the defensive end, then his kind of role in the NBA could be put into jeopardy. But I think the right environment will really help with that. Time will tell, but that's the improvement I'd like to see with Talen Horton-Tucker. Let's move on to the next one, and that would be Julian Phillips. I mean, I've been very impressed with Julian Phillips this season. His three-point shooting was good. His athleticism and his putbacks and his rebounding was good. He had some good career nights with the Chicago Bulls. It's actually quite hard to pinpoint one thing I'd like to see improved with Julian Phillips, because in the role that he's taken, he's actually excelled in it. The thing I'd like to see, he's still very skinny. Look, I'm a big guy, so I'm not trying to body shame anyone here, but I'd like to see a little bit more muscle being put into it, because his ability to maybe put on some extra muscle, sure, it might impact his athleticism, but he will get stronger defensively. And he's already someone that can keep up with a lot of guys. He's a solid defender in the NBA, and I think that can be an improvement with some strength, considering he is still young and there's still room to improve there. So I would say that's the key area for him I'd like to see, but ultimately, I've been very impressed with him, so all I could really say is keep up the good work, Julian Phillips. And Matas Buzelis is probably another one you could put strength into the category. But for me, Matas Buzelis, I'm going to stick with three-point shooting. That's the one area I'd like to see improvements in. When I've seen him shoot the ball, and it is smooth sometimes. There are certain games where, it's beautiful. It's beautiful watching him just switch the ball. He has a good jump shot. At least the foundation of it looks good to me. But consistency-wise, he's been very up and down this season with that shot. He's had moments where he's excelled. He has moments where he's struggled. So I want to see a little bit of a balance from the three-point line. I think if he could get his three-point game on points in his second season, he will be a threat, because athleticism-wise, he is good. Confidence-wise, he is good. And he's obviously athletic enough to play some defense and, go out and transition, go to the rim. He has a bag as well. He's someone that can create his own shot. I mean, I'm excited about his future. But a consistent three-point shot is probably what we all wanted to see in his first season. I would say that's been hit and miss. Next season, I'd like to see improvements there. But again, very happy with his first season. We'll go to Kevin Huerter. With Kevin Huerter, I don't expect much, because he's the type of player where if he's making threes and he is participating in that way, he's a threat to any team. And any team would love someone like that. But you could see what happened with Sacramento. When he doesn't shoot well from the three-point line, sadly, he does become a liability. So Kevin Huerter, what I want to see improved is his confidence, because I think he's a confidence guy. when he's playing within rhythm and within the confidence, with confidence in himself, he's a threat. He is a threat. But when he's not, he's a liability. So keep that confidence up, and next season could be a great one for him. Zach Collins, man, I'm so impressed with Zach Collins. Someone that I didn't expect much when coming into this team. For a lot of the time he was here, he was a starter, and he did some big things in replacement of Nikola Vucevic when he was hurt. I mean, it's as simple as that. I honestly can't think of something Zach Collins needs to improve on. Maybe it's his durability, because he has an injury record on him, and we didn't see that with the Bulls really, thankfully. But yeah, I'd like to see more durable, I guess, games with him where we're not worrying about his injury record, and maybe that's happened this season. But if he's going to be here next season, I'd like to see more of the same. He's actually the best I've seen him in a long time, and I think that is because he had consistent games under his belt and he played significant minutes in those games. So what I'm asking for might have already come true. So should be interesting what happens to him next season. Ayo Dosunmu, I don't know if I can pinpoint anything for Ayo either. I mean, he has been a guy that does everything for us. Defensively, he is there. Playmaking-wise, he can do that. Defensively, he can do that. I think it's more with Ayo. I mean, he's injured at the moment, right? So, I guess you could say I'd like to see him come back from his injury and be okay. But with Ayo, it's more about just continuing to be the guy that you depend on in any situation. Whether he's coming off the bench, being dependable. When he's a starter, being dependable. When it's barely getting any minutes, but he's coming in to maybe make an impact in one way, being dependable. Like, Ayo is Mr. Dependable. I think he is one of those glue guys you don't want to see leave the Chicago Bulls team. I really can't pinpoint something, because he's improved in every way I've asked him to. Get stronger defensively, he has. Become a knockdown three-point shooter, he has. Being able to play make, he has. Like, he's done everything I've asked from him. I don't expect superstar from Ayo, but I expect someone that is Mr. Dependable, and that is what he is. So I don't have much else to say with him when it comes to Ayo. We'll see what ends up happening in the future. Nikola Vucevic is going to be an interesting one. That's the one we talk about next. With Vucevic, the one thing I'd like to see with him is the continual adapting to a faster pace game. Look, we don't know if Vucevic is going to be here next season or not. But the reality is, he doesn't fit the way this Bulls team likes to play when it comes to the transition, when it comes to playing faster. Yes, he's found his way towards the end of the season. All I want is to continue to see him adapt to that. Because if he becomes someone that you can trust and rely in a faster paced game to make decisions and to be excellent at doing so, and all of those things, to be a player that you could truly use in a faster paced team, it only adds fuel to not only his position to request a trade and get a trade, but other teams would be interested in him after that as well. So there's a lot on the line for Vucevic next season, in my opinion, whether it's this offseason or whether he is here for the Bulls next season. And his continual adaptation to this Bulls team will be vital for that. So that's what I'd like to see. Jalen Smith, I like Jalen Smith a lot. I guess the only thing I'd like to see from him is better shot selection. He doesn't have the best shot selection. A lot of people question his IQ because of it. I don't think it's an IQ thing. I just think it's more of a confidence thing. I think sometimes he just feels like he could do something that you probably wouldn't expect him to do, and therefore he does take some dumb shots because of it. Yeah, that's really the only thing I'd like to see from Jalen Smith. He's a very solid backup piece, good defensively, very physical for a guy his size, can shoot the three. He's done a lot of good work for the Bulls. I just think his shot selection is a bit questionable from time to time. But, you know, everybody kind of has something in that regard. Jevon Carter. I have nothing to say about Jevon Carter. I think his time at the Chicago Bulls should be coming to an end. He doesn't play. He's someone that, yes, brings veteran experience. He's someone that is definitely helping the younger guys. He's in a mentor role. That's all fine and good. But in terms of what I'd like to see him improve on the court, I don't have anything. I really can't think of anything with him because I just can't see him play. So you know, if he stays here, fine. That's all fine and good. But to say I'd like to see improvements in his game when I think he's only going to get maybe 3 to 4 minutes in a game at a random time, I feel like there's no point trying to talk about that. So let's move on. Josh Giddey. Here's the thing about Josh Giddey, right? He's in a contract year, and he absolutely balled out in the second half of the season. What I want from Josh Giddey is simple. I want consistency from the beginning of the season to the end of the season. His beginning of the season, he said it himself. He was trying to fit in too much. He was trying to adjust and not play his own way. These are things that have been said. End of the season, this is kind of his team now, and he runs this team. So, next season, you'd assume it'd be the same. He's running this team. So I want to see what type of player we're seeing at the beginning of next season. Assuming he's on a new contract, he's getting paid a lot of big bucks, you expect him to perform from the beginning to end. And I think it's only natural to want to see that performance from the beginning to end. Now, to say I want him to average 22 points, 10 assists, and 12 rebounds per game is ridiculous. I don't expect him to be at that level each and every single game he plays, but I want a little bit of consistency. I don't think it's too much to ask if you average maybe 17 points, 7 assists, 7 rebounds. You know, I like, in my opinion, that is what Josh Giddey should be averaging next season, something along those lines. I think that's only natural and fair. And if he could do it consistently, that's all I ask for. We'll see if that could be delivered or not. It's hard, but he is someone that we are putting a lot of interest and money into. So if that's what we're going to do, you have to expect high things from Josh Giddey, even at his age. He's shown he could do it towards the end. I want to see it for a whole season. And funnily enough, we'll talk about that with one of the other players, but Lonzo Ball is next, and I want to see better strength and conditioning. It seems like every time we talk about Lonzo, we talk about his body breaking down on him. He's done an incredible job coming back from a 2.5-year injury. Someone that not many people can do. Not many people can come back from what he came from. But now we're talking about his wrist and how he's fully healthy with his wrist. But if he does get injured again, it's only going to get worse for his wrist. So I think there's a strength and conditioning thing with Lonzo Ball that's not being done right. And I want to see better strength and conditioning from Lonzo Ball. I want to see better durability. I want to see him come back on the court and there's no fear of any sort of injury happening to him. Because so far, when I see Lonzo Ball on the court, I get worried that something bad is going to happen to him. And that's just not what I want to feel. So I think better strength and conditioning is the answer. Because when he plays, he's phenomenal. He's a great asset to this team when he plays. But my worry is how often is he going to play? I could say availability, but to me, even being available is a question for Lonzo Ball. Because you just don't know when that next injury is coming for him. And it's scary. It really, really is. So I think he has to have a better approach in his strength and conditioning. I don't know if that's possible or not, but that's the improvement I'm going to say for Lonzo. And for Coby White. Again, someone I'm talking about consistency in this regard. Last season, let's actually say this. 2 seasons ago, we saw Coby White the shooter. It was nice to see Coby White the shooter. Someone that became second in most improved because of his unbelievable hot streak from the 3-point line. It was beautiful to see. It was nice to meet Coby White the shooter. But last season, we saw Coby White the scorer. We saw a bag. We saw free throws. We saw dynamic layups. We saw him fake out defenders. And yes, we saw some 3-point shooting as well, but we saw layers to his offensive game. We saw it. The problem with both of those seasons is that it wasn't done for the whole season. Coby White, the shooter, came out in the second half of the season. And he had a phenomenal second half of the season. And he helped us win some games. Coby White, the scorer, came out in the month of March. And oh boy, was it a fantastic month. He won Player of the Month in March. But it wasn't done for the whole season. To me, this would define what Coby White is seen as for the rest of his seasons. If he could play at a 24, 25 point per game level for next season, he will be in the All-Star category. That's how good of a scorer he has turned out to be for the Bulls last season, we should say. If that could be done from the very beginning, That's what I want. I just want to see consistency in Kobe White's game from beginning to end of the season, very similar to with Josh Giddey. It might be hard to ask for, but that's what I want from Mr. Kobe White. And I think if he could get that, he will prove to himself as one of the top guards in the league, and he will prove himself to be at an all-star level. It would be nice to see that. And that's the one improvement I want to see. It's just the consistency in his game. You know, it's fine to have a great second half to the season, but it will show his level of development if he could do it the entire season. We'll figure it out. We'll see. But 20 minutes, that's my video. Probably the last video I'm making today. If you guys could tell, I've been wearing the same shirt, so I made like 4 or 5 videos today. I'm done. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Well, maybe not. I don't know. I'll see you whenever I see you. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay tuned for more. Take care. And peace.